You're probably saying, what does this car have to do with shirts? Well, let me tell you, how does one thing lead to another? It is absolutely unbelievable. I sell shirts. I really love selling shirts. Polo Ralph Lauren is one of my favorite shirts. When I was a kid growing up, my parents couldn't afford 80, 90, 100 bucks for a shirt. It just didn't happen. I never forget this. A friend of mine, they owned a dry cleaners, and he would basically have tons and tons of shirts. Some people would pick the shirts up, some people wouldn't. And basically, at the end of the year, they'd have so many shirts left over that he would say, "Hey, Chris, listen, I have some shirts. If you like them, you're more than welcome to have them." He'd give me like 20 shirts at a time. And I'm like, these are really nice shirts. And that's kind of how it all started. Fast forward now, my goodness, I started doing the same thing. And then all of a sudden you realize, wow, you can make money out of this. I could really make money out of this. So, how does one thing lead to another? You sell shirts, and then all of a sudden you realize you can make some money, and then you start looking at things. One of my favorite cars is a Porsche. I never imagined in a million years I'd be able to afford or purchase a Porsche, let alone an electric one. So I had the opportunity. I went down to the dealership just looking. I always like to look, and my goodness, I couldn't believe how technology has changed. It is absolutely unbelievable. What I'm trying to say is the best person in the world to bet on is yourself. Take some chances. It's okay. If you fail, at least at the end of the day, you know you tried. But there's a good opportunity, a really, really good opportunity that you're not going to fail. You can learn from these mistakes. But if you never try and you're always wondering, what if I could, well, maybe I can't do it right now, then you're never going to get there. And it's really hard. Don't get me wrong. Nothing in this life worth anything is easy. You got to put the grind in. You got to get out there and you got to do it. You really got to take the chance. So, what I'm trying to say is there may be haters out there, there may be people that come against you. Just stay strong and don't give up. No matter what you do, don't give up. I don't care if you're selling shirts. I don't care if you're selling shoes. I don't care if you're going to school. I don't care if you're selling cookies, selling cakes, opening up a bakery. It doesn't matter. You put the homework in, you grind it out, and eventually, I promise you, it will pay off. I sell shirts. I sell shirts. Various different shirts. Long sleeve shirts, short sleeve shirts, Polo Ralph Lauren, Tommy Hilfiger, just about any shirt imaginable. But one of my favorite brands is Polo Ralph Lauren, and that's what I sell. And the reason why I started doing this, believe it or not, is just because what happened when I was a kid growing up. And when the pandemic happened, I started thinking, wow, what's going to happen when people have to go to work? We were all in pajamas. We were working from home. We were all confined. And it's like, eventually, people are going to go back to work. I started going out to local stores, some of the big stores, and I started seeing a lot of shirts clearance. And I was like, well, this is odd. And now when I go back and think about it, the reason why nobody was buying shirts, nobody was buying clothes, everybody was confined. So I would find these shirts, and some of these shirts would be marked down at crazy prices. I said, you know what? Let me take an opportunity. Let me just try. So I started buying as many as I possibly can. I started buying in bulk. There were so many shirts in one particular store, and they were like, well, sometimes we have to send these back. Or I was like, well, listen, what can you do for me? If I buy 1,000 shirts from you, what's the best price? And I got a really great deal. And that's kind of how this all began. So let me tell you, the moral of the story is don't give up, keep fighting, no matter what. CJ Clothier's Factory Polo.